Good afternoon, YouTube. Today I am going to be discussing the legacy of Justin Trudeau, this man who took over our country in 2015 from Stephen Harper and the Conservative government and brought the Liberals a tremendous victory. People in this country seem to be tired of Stephen Harper and the Conservative Party of Canada, and Trudeau came in promising equality for all, promising that we would have a carbon footprint that was neutral or even net zero by 2050, and that they would have rights for the LGBTQ plus community, protected rights for Indigenous peoples, equal rights for women, of course environmental consciousness, pushing to increase immigration and equality for all multicultural backgrounds. He is the second youngest Prime Minister in Canadian history to be elected. Let us look back on that history. Trudeau introduced legalizing marijuana through the Cannabis Act, establishing the federal carbon tax penalty on Canadians, signed the Paris Agreement on climate change, and was sanctioned by the Canadian Ethics Commissioner for violating conflict of interest laws twice regarding the Aga Khan affair, and again by pressuring Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould regarding the SNC-Lavalin affair. Justin Trudeau was a promoter of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and he was self-described as a feminist. He constructed his cabinet to be comprised of 50% women, and he promised to eliminate Canada's carbon footprint by using the Canadian Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 40 to 45% below 2005 levels by 2030, and to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. He promised equality and tremendous government outreach and financial support to Indigenous peoples and acknowledgement of all former Indigenous territory and treaty lands. Trudeau pushed to make Canada a post-national globalist state and promises mass immigration policy. But how did he go about his promises? Despite having constructed his cabinet of 50% women, Justin Trudeau seemed to have little regard for women who opposed him or supposedly crossed him. On March 29th, a telephone call secretly recorded by Jody Wilson-Raybould, then Attorney General, between herself and Privy Council Clerk Michael Wernick, was released, wherein Wernick told Wilson-Raybould that Trudeau wanted a deferred prosecution agreement for SNC-Lavalin, one way or another. The call accompanied a submission of 40 pages supplementing her original testimony, including copies of texts and emails outlining Wilson-Raybould's view of the events. In her testimony, Jody refused to cooperate with the intimidation tactics of Trudeau's office. The provided recordings of the call demonstrating that the Prime Minister wanted very strongly for Jody to act in favor of SNC. She insisted that she was simply trying to protect Trudeau and the government by refusing to act in a manner that was deemed political interference, just to hypothetically protect jobs supposedly lost by SNC due to the scandal and prosecution. She warned Michael Wernick that the integrity of the Prime Minister and the government was at risk. She repeatedly said that she was uncomfortable with the call, stating again and again that she would not enter in a deferred prosecution agreement with SNC, nor would she change her mind about her decision. Later, she stated that she was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that she was under no illusions that the Prime Minister was a man who gets what he wants. When asked about the allegations, Justin Trudeau said that the story in Globe and Mail was false, and that he never directed Wilson-Raybould concerning the case. Wilson-Raybould did not comment on the matter, citing solicitor-client privilege. She resigned from the Trudeau cabinet on February 12th, and Trudeau said that he had not anticipated her resignation and expressed disappointment over her decision, as it was not reflective of the conversations they had had during the recent meetings. Following Wilson-Raybould's resignation, Trudeau expressed his opinion that his government abided by all rules, did its job properly, and if anyone within the government, including the former Attorney General, felt otherwise, the responsibility lay with Wilson-Raybould to address these concerns directly to him or the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner. Justin Trudeau later punished Jody Wilson-Raybould for refusing to cooperate with SNC-Lavalin and for releasing the recording of her and Michael Wernick on April 2nd, 2019. Trudeau expelled Wilson-Raybould from the Liberal caucus in the House of Commons and stripped her of the Liberal Party nomination for the 2019 Canadian federal election, referring to her secretly recording her conversation with a Privy Council clerk as being unconscionable. On August 14, 2019, Mario Dion, the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner, released a report saying that Trudeau had contravened Section 9 of the Conflict of Interest Act by improperly pressuring Wilson-Raybould. The report details lobbying efforts by SNC-Lavalin to influence the prosecution since at least February of 2016, including the lobbying efforts to enact deferred prosecution agreements, DPA legislation. Responding to the report, Trudeau said he accepted it and took responsibility, but disagreed with its findings. Jody ran as an independent on October 21st, 2019. Wilson-Raybould defeated Liberal candidate Tlaib Noor Mohammed by 3,177 votes, becoming the first woman to be elected as an independent member to the Canadian Parliament.